Hi guys, and happy October vlog. So right now I'm going to be talking to you guys about haunted places in all America. So I found this cool looking live magazine. It's called The World's Most Haunted Places, Creepies, Ghostlies, and Spots all over America and Europe and everything. So let me switch on to the first page. So let's see. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to the dolls hanging from the trees. So, wait. This is the intro of it. Okay. I'm going to tell you guys two things, okay? So, there is no end to the old houses with resounding gorals and dismantled state bed chambers and haunted wings shut up for many years, through which were many roam and encounter any number of ghosts. So right now, if you guys want to know, this is in South Mexico. There's an island that's filled with toys collected by this caretaker. So if you see, this place is haunted. It has these actually are haunted, like figures of dolls and stuff. It's kind of neat. It is kind of neat. A lot neat. So yeah. The great English writer must as well have added Polish caves, boiling ruins, and Mexican mummy museums to his list of ghostly plans, as we here alive have done, bringing you a book filled with blood-goring and photos and early stories about the world's creepiest spots. Think the hotel that inspired The Shining. I actually watched that, you guys. If you ever watched Ghost Adventures, they had this one episode where they actually went to the actual hotel that Stephen King actually made his book called The Shining. Now that is very, very rare. That is amazing. And in the Adamville horror show house, the serial killer who inspired Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Silence of the Lamb, and Psycho. Now, not all these spots are strictly haunted. Some unlike Australia. Okay, so we're going down here. Okay, so let's get started. So the first scary of all scaries is a prison. Everybody knows that prisons have been for a long, long time. They've been there for ages. Honestly, no, they're very haunted. They very are. I have recently went to a prison. I was an officer, but the thing is that it was very haunted. That's all I gotta say. It was haunted because I have experienced some haunting moments there. So this one is the first. It's called the Paranormal Prison at Ashford. So yeah, this one talks about on May 2nd, 1946, in what became known as the Battle of whatever that word is. 6 prisoners overpowered guards, stole their weapons, and tried to escape Auschwitz. It's called Auschwitz. Auschwitz is one of the most, if you never heard of it, it's called the most biggest prison in the world. On this it's isolated island in San Francisco Bay. And when they realized that they were missing the key that they needed to flee into the reaction yard, they were drawn, despitefully took captives, and started shooting. Over the next 48 hours, 2 prison officers were killed and 18 injured. 3 would-be escaped was shot to death in a unending hurling between cell blocks. The very shot that 36 years ago, San Francisco aired. Archie Ted Warren was exploring with a psychic, and when she was overcoming by feeling of violence and evil. I got this trembling feeling of anger, he told the Travel Channel. I felt this presence breathing us in the dirt where 3 men have died. Oh God. This is only one of many supernatural stories, including the so-called Rock, which has become the Civil War fortress, a bird whatever that is, and the birthplace of the American Indian Red Power movement. In addition to the Burnley home for thousands of hundred convictions, Rejected as unmanageable by other prisoners, these men were called the inquiry, according to the former inmate Larry White Thomas, who sat on the toe and it's going to wind up in the dead. Many of these long departed inmates are now seen to be unruling spirits. Especially Alan Carl has been head protecting his balance in the shower room. He was a member of the prison band the Rock Islanders. Mason mobster Alan Creeper calls the bakery and kitchen home, while George, the machine gun Kelly have reported materializes in the chief. But most haunted spots in this prison, according to many paranormalists, is D Block, the site of the infamous 1946 escape attempt and the island's best spooky story. Thought the tale seemed incredible, it's too good not to mention. A prisoner locked in cell 14D, one of the whole cells, but surprisingly screaming that someone else was in the dark, creepy space with him. When guards finally opened the door, they found him dead. Strangling marks from a specific attacker on his neck. This little setback did not, however, prevented the late prisoner's ghost from showing up from a roll call that night. Unlikely so many haunted places, Ashford doesn't commercially captivates on this reputation. In fact, the National Park Service calls this spooky story flights of fantasy, as does the island tour. There are so cases of ghost sightings of any Ashford Islands residents over the years, whether they were soldiers, prisoners, correction officers, and family members or park rangers, the site rumor. But how would you... So, to me, I have actually watched Ghost Adventures. I actually did. If you don't watch Ghost Adventures, I believe you guys should, because I swear these men are so amazing. They actually went to Ashford's. They actually had an episode of this. And when I read about this, they were talking about this too, where in cell 14D, this prisoner was in the hole. They actually have this like cell where it's, they call it like the isolation cells for like offenders who are wanting to hurt people or hurt themselves. So they put them in this isolation thing to keep them safe and everybody else safe. And for some reason, he was screaming, cramping space with him that something was in there. And next thing you knew, he died. Strangulation. That was just really weird. And there's marks on his neck and everything. And so it's paranormal because there's sightings on ghosts and everything else. And that's my first scary story for you. So I did not know this place was really haunted until I just read it. But it's really good. So if you have never heard of it, it's called the Paranormal Prison. It's on San Francisco, so if you ever go and see it, I think you guys should. So that's it for tonight. I'm hoping that you have a little history in you. So there's going to be more to come, so I'm hoping you have a lovely night and sweet dreams.